Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today I'm playing in the Tier 9 Soviet destroyer, or arguably almost light cruiser, the Tashkent, Trashkent, whatever you want to call it. This ship has a lot of people's ire. It just isn't all that strong, or it wasn't at Tier 8. It's a little better at Tier 9 with the changes that were made as it was moved up. And if you play it right, you can have some really solid games, but it's definitely not the cab that replaces it. However, if you play it like a cab, you can have some decent results. So I'm playing alongside Dedan and Parasitic Trite. And you can see we're in a Tier 10 game, worse off, there are carriers. And when there's carriers and you're in a DD, that just spells trouble. And in a way, even more so if you've brought smoke. Now, these Russian destroyers with the heal, in my opinion, that is the way to play them. They do so well with their speed and just staying at range and shooting that you're better off having that ability to repair the damage you do take, and sitting in a smoke in these things just does not work well. They're, kind of slow to maneuver off the go, and with radars at this tier, you can just find yourself in a lot of trouble. CVs are going to just drop torpedoes into your smoke, and if they're any kind of coordinated, they'll drop them perpendicular to the inevitable destroyer torpedoes that are coming your way too. So you'll kind of see the planes going in and you'll be like, okay, I'll just go bow onto these, minimize the chance of the hit, and it puts you perfectly broadside on to incoming destroyer torpedoes. And that's definitely a bit more advanced team play, but I have had it happen to me. So there's no way I'm sitting in a smoke in this ship. Instead, I'm going to use my speed and just really try to kite and stay outside and harass ships. Now, interestingly enough too, with the torpedoes this thing has, 8 kilometers, basically the same as your detection range. They're actually pretty good if you have islands to launch them from behind. And the reason they're really strong, and you'll see this later in the game, is they reload quite fast. They're not that strong as far as overall performance of the torpedo goes, particularly in just the range and quantity when you compare it to, say, by this tier, the Americans are starting to get further range, but the Japanese, the longer range torpedoes, your reload directly correlates to kind of the strength of the torps. And that's something I've been noticing more and more in this game, is when you do have a ship that's maybe got fewer tubes or the range is really bad, you actually get some really strong reload numbers. So seeing a Des Moines and Conqueror kind of coming down here, I'm not going to advance. And reading the map is a big part of playing destroyers. And seeing a radar cruiser last spotted north of this island, he could easily be creeping down. So, my 8.2 detection goes just past that nub. The Des Moines could be there, but I'm opening up and I'm not turned in, so it's really easy for me to turn out and get away. Now, obviously, Conqueror broadside on, I'm going to start shooting. And there's the Des Moines shells, there's the Conqueror, and just getting the rudder over, I'm going to dodge all of those. Now, some of that's a bit of where they aimed. They maybe could have aimed better and gotten some shells to connect, but as long as you maneuver, you're going to be able to dodge most of what's coming your way. You can see the torps were looking half decent on the Des Moines. They don't hit, but what they do is they get that cruiser to turn away. And he's now clear of radar range. So I've now kind of taken back the initiative of I choose when I go dark. And with a 12.7 gun range and those ships being the closest thing to me, as I sail out of gun range, I also become undetected. Now, if there's a destroyer or something in between me and them, that would not be the case, and I could be in more trouble. And where I've found that Tashkent does best is when you can find yourself places where there aren't enemy destroyers to really mess with you. Now you can see Dedan pushing up with me. We've got a Monty here and a Dmitry Donskoy. So I'm feeling pretty safe with these bombers overhead. And broadside on Missouri, I'm just going to start shooting. I want fires here. I want to start getting some damage over time and really just start working ships down. Broadside on like this, if I were a little bit closer, I'd probably be using AP, but kind of towards the further edge of my gun range, I've just personally found I get more consistent damage with the HE. And that's something I go for a lot when I'm picking ammo choice, is what am I going to get more consistent volleys with? That's a good reason why when you've got bow and ships, swapping to HE over AP is often a good choice, because you know you're going to get the 2,000 to 3,000 damage that you can do per volley, rather than, well, I could find that hole and get a big hit, or completely miss it and get nothing. And that's really where things come down. Now obviously, now that this Missouri has used its damage controls, I'm only going to be firing HE because I want that fire. I get my torpedoes in the water, they're definitely in range here. I've been fortunate that nothing's really shooting at me, although some shells are starting to come my way, and I take a hit. So I hit the repair party to fix my engine and rudder, slam the brakes on to try to duck under the Missouri shells. I eat some damage, but I get to repair it. And that's where the repair party comes in huge. Now in that situation, maybe having a smoke could have gone a decent ways for me. I could have sat there and just shot at ships all day. But I do feel smoke often compromises destroyers. You end up sitting still thinking you're safe, only to get caught out by a radar or a DD or something finding you in that smoke. So with this Missouri dying, I'm heading south as fast as I can. Looks like he's the one with the radar up, but I just want to try to get more shots on. I want to get a kill. Unfortunately, his health is disappearing pretty rapidly here. Probably not gonna be me who finishes him off, and it ends up being our DM. And now we've really got to think. Over on the other flank, we've got a Minnow who's alone versus an LSAS in Des Moines. He's probably gonna go down. Just bad position for him. We've got a couple destroyers out in the mid, and the enemy team has completely pushed themselves into this cap. And initially I was thinking, you know what, I might just try to sneak in the south here, get in close, and throw some torps at things. They're already reloaded. As I said, they reload quite fast in the Tashkent. And then I kind of go, well, no, that's a bad idea. I have a Grosser Kerr first, you know, it's got a good hydro on it. For me to be in these islands, it means I'm going to be hydroed. There's a Yugamo gearing, a Z46. There's just too many things that could surround me. So rather than dive right in, I decide I'm going to work to the middle of the map. I'm going to try to get up beside them, get shots in on the Kerr first while I can, and just try to find side positions. Parasitic Trite in the Missouri is moving up, and he's going to be ready with his radar to support. So my priority right now, just find the optimal position. Now I do have a gear in there, I hit him once, but I really want to get rid of this Kerr first. So I take a couple volleys while he's spotted, hoping to just get rid of him. Friendly DM finishes him off. Okay, onto the gearing. The gearing's getting focused down. One volley, one more like that, he's a goner. Our Yu Yang finishes him, but that's another ship down. So now it's this Z46, and you can see I'm side on, he's using AP, and that German AP can just wreck these Russian destroyers I've found. So get moving as quick as I can. Luckily that shell breaks my rudder, not my engines, and I am going to be able to just kind of disengage here. I'm pretty beat up, but I'm recovering some of my health, and I'm just going to get back to that position I wanted to get to. Up here, out on the side, Parasitic is pushing in, he's going to have that radar. If we can spot this Z46, either I'm going to have shots or he is. We've got a Des Moines, a Donskoy. We're surrounding this cap, and we've taken out a lot of their ships that went in here. Now so far, 38,000 damage. This isn't a very strong game for me. And I was really hoping that I would be able to turn this around and just get some good damage, get some kills, win this game. Right now, we're ahead on points, but the enemy team has the caps, and they've only got one less ship than us, so that we could find ourselves in trouble. However, the way the Z46 plays this here, he's in his smoke. For some reason, rather than just run, tries to slam the brakes on and back behind the island, and he's caught in no man's land, and I'm just going to push him. At this point, best thing I can do is just get in there, put the land between me and him, to just try to protect against torpedoes. There they are, land keeping me nice and safe. Still another volley somewhere, so as I come around the corner, definitely want to get bow in. And there they are. Easily slip into that gap, and we're gonna start securing D. And with all of us in here, that's gonna go pretty quickly. Next repair party comes up, so I'm eagerly using it. You can see I'm almost back to half health despite being pretty beat up. Now I fire one of those torpedo sets at the North Carolina, the other at the Conqueror. And this is basically going to be my home for the rest of this battle. And it's where things are really going to start turning around for me. And a big part of the reason is, I don't know if you caught it there, that Conqueror was starting to turn. And I was saying it in our comms, like, if he keeps that turn on, this Conqueror is eating a ton of damage. Unfortunately, some bombers coming above. I do have a DM behind me, so he's definitely helping work them down, and really, none of them get killed though. 8-2 fires, quickly put them out. I'm behind the island, I'm safe. There's more bombers, but they miss. There's the Conqueror. He ate a whole bunch of those torps. Eats a chunk of damage, and you can see I've already almost got my next set. So all I'm doing here, I'm just backing up to the edge of land, trying to get, you know, enough of my ship clear that none of my torpedoes are hitting the land, but I'm able to actively engage this North Carolina. And he's not stupid. He knows I'm here. He's got his rudder hard over, so I fire one and I hold the others. I wait for that turn to be stuck. And with the edge of land beside him, he's trapped. 3 torps, 2 floods, good chunk of damage, second kill of the match. Things are starting to feel better. I'm starting to like this. And already that first set, 45 seconds. And I'm just kind of grinding my teeth here, just waiting. Is this Conqueror going to push hard and fast? Doesn't look like it. Our Yu Yang sails out, throws all of his torps. Unfortunately for our Yu Yang, completely misses them all. And you can see the Conqueror doesn't really maneuver. And I don't know if he got around those torps by just not trying to dodge them, and the Yu Yang expected him to dodge. But either way, I don't mind, because it's going to be more damage for me. I'm just trying to hold position. At this point, I think it was Dan was telling me, Conqueror's not looking at you, he's looking at the Yu Yang. So I get myself right in front of him, torps come on reload, and there they are, right into the bow. 17,000 damage, finish the Conqueror off. And I'm up to 3 kills now, 125,000 damage. This game has come around, but we're not out of the water yet. DM, Zhao still left, and a carrier. There's always an opportunity to lose a game that you think you've got secured. The bombers, well, interestingly enough, they seem to go for the Des Moines. So I'm just going to start working away. The Zhao is my issue, and there he is. Appears, I fire one set, get the second one in the water, and I'm just going to gun it. And I really think he expects me to just try to disengage or kite around, but I'm 19 seconds to my next sort of set of torpedoes. I don't want to disengage. I want to get rid of them. Got a friendly Des Moines coming in, so I'm going to have spotting. Going to get AP in my guns, because if this Zhao comes out broadside on, I'm going to absolutely wreck him with AP. And you can see it's about here that I go, I don't think he knows I'm here. You'll notice getting in position to put the torps in the water, kind of just lead them, put them in, got AP loaded. And looking at the Zhao, you can see me peeking up. He's got his guns straight forward at the Des Moines. The Des Moines is what he is concerned about. So this is pretty much free game for me. 4 citadels with the first volley. The torpedoes are looking good, but they're not going to have time to hit. Another set of citadels in the second volley, and finish the Zhao off. I'm up to 4 kills, 139,000 damage. I'm radared by the Des Moines. I've got my speed boost up. I've got to just run. Now, realistically, yes, I probably could have tried to tuck into this island and just ridden the radar out under his gun arcs, but I do feel for me the safer thing is just to try to get out. So I'm just going to wiggle that booty back and forth, get shots when I can. Unfortunately, the guns are a little slow, so they're not going to track at the same rate as my rudder. And you can see me just waving back and forth. Everything I can do to duck any of his shells. I get a fire in the first volley that he instantly repairs. Parasitic Trite puts a big hit into his side, and I'm starting to think, oh my god, if this goes well, I could get a crack in there. Another big hit from Parasitic. My final volley's in the air before I disappear. I get a fire, and I'm going, I think I've got it. And definitely in our comms, I'm like, you know, I've got a permafire. He's ticking. He's gonna die. But he's not. So then I start going, crap, he's healed. So I come around. I'm gonna get aggressive. This game is pretty much secure here. I want to get shots in where I can. You can see him healing through that fire. I managed to put another 1400 in. Unfortunately, his volley puts a fire on me. So it's gonna come down to a final volley. He's coming out. I've got a few hit points left. I kind of just lead for if he goes out past the edge of land. AP's in the air. And it's not quite enough. I do pick up Confederate. He's put the fire out. So he's going to survive. For the time being at least. But we've got enough ships running him down that this one is in the bag. Super happy with this result. It was a bit of a slow start. And a lot of games can be that way. I think it's important to just remind yourself that there's a lot of time in World of Warships. It's not a game of World of Tanks. Even if the enemy team starts dying early, you're going to have your opportunities if you play smart. Took home 587,000 credits, 21,000 experience, 7,000 free XP, 150k damage, 4 kills, so close on that Des Moines. I wish I'd been able to do it, but I didn't quite get the Kraken. I can live with it though. There's a couple other ships I might have been able to kill early, but end of the day, we got the win, and that's what I really care about. For me, you know, winning is kind of, it's up there. That's my goal when I get into a battle, and if I have to do something that throws my ship away to help my team out, I'll do it. You can see Parasitic Trite, top of the team there, absolutely working down planes, 2,500 XP for me, and those two BBs really feeding into my damage total. And when you do get behind an island, and you've got ship pushing around corners, it's very hard for them to get around the corner. These Russian destroyers have very fast torpedoes, and it makes them nearly undodgeable. That Conqueror, if he had been a few seconds earlier, might have actually gotten close enough that my torpedoes never armed, and that would have been trouble. The Zhao, you saw what he did. He just sailed broadside out to a destroyer. You know, he's not invincible to the AP, put citadels into him, quickly worked him down. End of the day, I took home 433,000 credits, that 21,000 experience. This was my final game in the Tashkent. That 21k finished me off, got me the cab, but I'm actually going to hold on to this ship. A lot of people don't like it. I've had fun in it as I learned how to play it better. So I'm going to keep sailing it. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun playing it, and I'm looking forward to starting to just mine some tears and salt in the cab, because if you sit and just sail around, wiggling about, shooting, there's not a lot of the ships can do about you, and it can definitely be just one of the bigger pests at tier 10. Anyways, if you liked it, please consider giving it a thumbs up or subscribing, and as always, I am Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you all later.